Oh hey, today you catch me deep in the canyons, just admiring the view. Now, if you know anything about me so far from the few videos I have made, you will know that I have kind of a variety of weird and interesting cars. And so you look at this view and you figure to yourself, this has got to be like an hour out of LA. What interesting and unique car did you bring out this time? Well, I'll show you. I decided to come out in this, my 2008 Honda Fit. This is the base model with the 5-speed manual, which means it has a 1.5 4-cylinder front-wheel drive and 5 doors. Not exactly the sportiest thing in the entire world, but it is one of my favorite cars that I have ever owned. So much, in fact, that this right here is my third one. I had a silver 2007, then I had a purple 2010, and now I have this black 2008. Now this black Honda Fit is my first base model. There are a couple differences between the base model and the sport. Now if only I had some sort of sport here with me in order to show you, my lovely viewer, the differences between the base model and the sport. Oh, look at that. Oh, how nice. Now, this is my friend David's 2008 Honda Fit. He has the sport model in the blaze orange. Now, as you can see, definitely a better looking car than my black '08. However, mine might be a little bit lighter. Now, while I actually don't know if that comment is completely accurate or not, I can sort of walk you through some of the reasons that I think it might be. He has cruise control, I don't. He has a place to plug an aux cord in, I don't. He has power locks, I do, but I don't have keyless entry while he does. So of all the differences mentioned, plus the body kit, the only difference that I have neglected to mention so far is that if both of the cars were automatic, he would have paddles to shift with, and I would not. However, I would rather not have a Fit than have an automatic Fit. I lied. There's one more major difference between these two cars. I have some sort of muffler. He has some sort of stock muffler. I forgot the brand of this muffler. The guy I bought the car from had put it on there already. I like how it sounds a lot. I never bothered to change it or really look at it that much, but I can go ahead and show you what it sounds like real quick. Now, I don't just have these two Honda Fits out here to talk about the differences that a couple grand would have gotten you in 2008. In fact, these cars are more similar than they are different. Both are on lowering springs, both are '08s, both have a TPMS light on, and they both are a little high mileage. This is at about 206, one's at about 153K, but both of them are beat pretty regularly. Me and David both love canyoning. In fact, we'll take both of these out pretty regularly to race each other and see which Fit is faster. The answer is they're both slow. But there is one major difference between these two cars. Mine has a brand new father and son clutch. Since I had to do my clutch, I read a lot on the forums and I've heard a lot like in the general Fit zeitgeist. The lightweight Flywheel is the easiest and best mod for easy like power gains because it won't make your vehicle, it won't make your car any less reliable. They are relatively cheap and it is something that like if you're already in there, it's something you're already gonna need to do anyway. So my car now has the Jun lightweight Flywheel in. I'm now just over the break-in period. I'm about 1,000 miles onto my clutch in about like 5-6 days. Kind of got my car back and started really making up for lost time. I have both of these cars up here. I guess really the only thing we can do is find out if it was worth it. The June Flywheel I think was like $400 with shipping and handling, and then I had to pay an extra $140 for tariffs thanks to our glorious leader. Let's call it $500 for this lightweight Flywheel. Now, do the cars drive differently enough and or is there enough of a tangible difference to justify my $500? I don't know. Let's find out. That's why they're both here. Stupid. As I previously said, this is my third Honda Fit, and there's something about these cars that keeps bringing me back to them. When I lost my first one, that was my longest stretch without one, maybe like 3 years. And then I bought my second gen, and then when I had to stop driving my second gen, I ended up just buying a first gen instead to kind of bridge the gap in between my Fits. Now, I've since then gotten rid of my second gen, but I still am planning to keep this car forever. With this new father and son clutch in there and the June Flywheel, this thing is so fucking good. I am obscenely in love with these cars. Now, if you've never driven a Fit, maybe it's a little bit hard to explain why, in fact, I'm willing to own 3 of the exact same Japanese Econo box. But once you drive them, I think it becomes a lot more apparent why these cars are so beloved. The steering is so precise. This gearbox is fantastic. Every gear feels super good. It feels so nice going into every gear, and I am in the I'm on the stock setup. There's nothing modified like about my shifter setup, and it just feels great. But that's the thing, it's like they always feel great. Like that's just how they are stock. It's really incredible. The L15 in here is also a super revvy motor that is happy to get beat on all day. Whenever I drive this thing in the canyons, the car asks for it. You know what I mean? Like it's not doing anything that it doesn't want to do. I'm not forcing anything out of it that, you know, like the car's never fighting me. It is always happy to rev out as much as I want. It's always happy to get beat on for as long as I want. And it's always down to do it whenever I want. Me and the orange GT3, my buddy David's, we go up all the time because these cars don't have any issue with doing it all the time. My silver one, my first one that I owned, I took it up just about every single day just to go practice, just to be as good of a driver as I could possibly be. And the Fit always allows you to enjoy driving and enjoy what it's like. Now, obviously, it does have downsides. At the end of the day, it's front-wheel drive. It's got maybe 90 horsepower, and it is super tall. Like, for its size, its double seam welded chassis and its precise steering always make up for any downsides that you get from actually owning a 5-door rather than just like a regular sports car when you're in the canyons. That's why this car is so amazing, because you can daily it and fit anybody you'd ever, you know, like, not everybody you'd ever need to fit, but up to 5 people in the car. Both of the rear seats go all the way down, lay flat. You can fit anything you'd ever need to fit in this car. One time I went from Los Angeles to San Diego, which is about a 2-hour drive, with me, 2 of my friends, a hood, and some other nonsense in this car. And we were fine because this car is just so practical. On top of being so much fun to drive, that there is genuinely no other car that I find myself wanting to drive besides this. I'm currently at 7 cars, and I've put about 2,000 miles on this car in the last like 2-3 weeks, just because I cannot stop myself from driving it. And also because it's so practical that whenever I need to do something, it's always the keys I reach for. Like the BMW that I own is a little bit longer, but it's just not as practical because the seats don't lay all the way down. The interior space is not used as effectively as it is in the Fit, and it's just not a Honda Fit, you know? I can't go up there and beat on that car for hours and hours and hours and assume that it's still going to be fine. That's really only something that you can get out of a Honda Fit, and or like most other Hondas. A lot of the benefits of the Honda Fit that I'm describing, I'm sure also apply just as validly towards like any other Honda. I'm sure everything that I just said applies just as well to an EG hatch or an EK hatch. But the thing about the Fit is it's still a little bit more modern than those cars. So in the dailyable aspects, I find it to be a tiny bit more livable. You know what I mean? Like in an EG, if I just had a nice stock one, I would have an even slower car than this one with less space on the inside and less creature comforts. The AC wouldn't be as cold as this car. The heater wouldn't be as hot as this car. This car comes stock with an aux cable. That's super nice. No EG ever did that, even though mine did, but that's neither here nor there. So I make fun that this is a cheap Japanese Econo box, but honestly, like, I really like being in here. Like, I think the interior is really nice for what it is. The shifter is great. I do have an aftermarket shifter. Ignore that. That's not real. And also that dirt on the floor isn't real. And also all the dust on my dashboard isn't real. But my main thing is, I mean, from sitting right here, it's got a nice gauge cluster. I love that it says Fit in there. It's so funny. I love that they're blue. I wish it had an MPG gauge. That's the one thing it's missing. This stock radio is nice. I like that it's also blue, because I more wanted to kind of like explain that I really did like this dashboard and this interior, because I did critique the 350Z for having a bad, I'm sorry, I dropped my keys. I did criticize the 350Z for having a bad interior, and then I drive a Honda Fit, which isn't exactly like a luxury car. I think the biggest difference is that Honda doesn't really use the same like cheap ass plastics that Nissan always did. So even though they're both cheap interiors, this looks and feels better just due to that simple fact. My main thing about the Z dashboard is like the passenger side look, and this, like, to me, looks way the fuck better. It's mostly, I guess, because of this little cubby where you can keep pens and things. However, I keep nothing there. Now, I've gushed plenty about why I love Honda Fits. And I think I made the point pretty clear that besides the fact that they are a very practical, economical daily driver, they are also an incredible amount of fun to drive up in the mountains. And the balance of both of those things to me has always made this be a car that I think I could never get rid of and or never live without. Sure, the seats are awful. If you drive this thing up for long distances like I have to pretty often, you will find yourself resenting the car a little bit. The seats have very little padding. They have zero bolstering. They hurt, bro. After a while, they hurt your ass. But I mean, it's a worthy trade-off in my opinion, because when I get to wherever I'm going, I'm going to be able to fit whatever the hell I need in the back of this car with no issues. And I couldn't say that about a car that's just like a little bit more comfortable, you know? If they would have put real comfortable seats in this car, I couldn't have fit the two homies in a hood in this car. So it's like, would I rather be a little bit more comfortable or a lot more practical? And my answer, I guess, is a lot more practical. Not that I really got a choice, but I did choose with my wallet, and I do still own one of these, you know? But the main reason we're out here is to answer the question, is that lightweight flywheel worth it? Yeah, I think so. I have footage of me driving David's car, which hopefully I'll be able to recover some of it to use here. And in that footage, and especially after getting straight out of my car and into his car, it was really apparent to me that this lightweight flywheel made a huge difference in the way that my car feels. When I first got in the car after we had done the clutch swap and had the lightweight flywheel in it, I found myself a little disappointed because I was like, dude, this doesn't feel fast. It does not feel that different. Like, I really just waited, you know, all that time to get the clutch done, all that time for the flywheel to get delivered, paid all that money for the special flywheel and the tariffs for nothing, dude. Fuck, like, what a waste of my time. And then I drove David's car. So I wanted to immediately hop out of my car and hop into a nice stock one in order to feel the difference. And like I said, like this car does feel slower. The difference I feel the most with the new flywheel is that, like, in the low end, I seem to have more torque. Now, it isn't like a torque monster or anything. Yeah, it's not fast. This car was never going to be fast with this motor in it, but it is significantly torqueier. When I put my foot down in fifth gear on the freeway, I go somewhere. And to any other Fit owner who owns a nice stock one will hear that statement and go, what? I've never been able to do that. And you know what? Yeah, I've never been able to do it either. That was my first time. And then, you know, the fifth gear thing is nice, but it is just a little torqueier, or at least it revs up a lot faster in general, like basically in any scenario. And obviously, in any scenario, the revving up faster always feels nicer, you know? This was worth every single dollar. And for something that, I mean, I personally don't really believe in resurfacing flywheels or like rotors. I just think you're already in there, you know? You don't do it that often. You might as well do it like as to the best of your abilities, you know? And the best of your abilities are not a fucking cheap resurface. It's to actually go ahead and replace the part, you know? So as I was saying, for like a part that I was already going to fully replace regardless, it's such a good difference. It's such a good difference, dude. Like, this car feels so fucking good. I could honestly be up here all day just driving this car. I love driving this car. And it's pretty economical too. Like, I drive it like an asshole and I get like 30 miles a gallon. I mean, what else do you need? So to kind of wrap this video up in a nice little bow, there are two different types of Honda Fits. There's a base model and a sport. The Sport is cooler. I think you should get the Sport. The base model, honestly, having no keyless entry makes me want to sell this one and get a Sport instead. But I have a lot of money into this one specifically, and it already has a lot of stuff that I like on it. So there's not a real reason for me to be doing all that. Then you should buy a Honda Fit regardless, however, because they're such good cars. They're little fun machines, man. I love this thing. And number three, if you need to do your clutch on your Fit, you should get the lightweight flywheel because there are no downsides. It doesn't make the car harder to drive. It only improves the car in a positive way. Except, however, it just into my mind, I don't know if this is a my car specific thing or if it's a general problem if you do end up going this route, but I feel like my starter is, it sounds like it's scratching when I start it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the like, it's a, so keep in mind, my starter was already bad. It already used to kind of like grind on the stock flywheel. Should I have done it when I did my clutch? Yes. Did I forget about it? Yes. Because I tend to be someone who likes to do the while you're in theirs, but not this time. I forgot.